The views and opinions expressed by the hosts of Black Talk Radio News and any guest represents their views and their views only, and do not necessarily represent views of the Black Talk Media Project or the Black Talk Radio Network. Scotty Reid here with a Black Talk Radio News report and commentary. Before we get into this story that was published on the website For Harriet, Black Men Don't Make Trans Women Pay for Your Fragile Masculinity, I just want to announce that BTR News is returning to the airwaves live. The program will be a weekly program every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern on blacktalkradionetwork.com. And tomorrow night, my first guest will be speaking on a related topic. I did a video recently about Dwayne Higgerson, who killed a transsexual who stalked him on a dating site, knew that he was looking for a woman, a natural born woman, and was not looking for a transsexual. I mean, when you list that you're a straight male looking for a woman, that's what you mean. And so the person who was killed, I believe their name was D. Wiggum or something to that effect. I'm sorry, I don't recall the name. But this person tricked Mr. Hickerson, did not disclose that their true sexual identity till after they were in a motel room and had sex. This person had months to disclose while they were conversing online that they were a transsexual, and did not do it till after they had sex. Mr. Hickerson went into shock. I can imagine what his mind went through. He's a rape victim. He was a victim of sexual deception. So my first guest, as I return BTR News back to the live airwaves on Black Talk Radio Network, will be Mr. Hickerson's mother, who is campaigning for laws to force transsexuals to disclose their true identity before engaging in intimate sexual contact with heterosexual men that they know identify as heterosexual. Okay, so let's get to this article. This is a very disgusting article. This is victim bashing. It is basically running off of the uproar against the program, The Breakfast Club. Yeah, the outrage is connected to The Breakfast Club, where a comedian who was asked if he had been in a relationship with a transsexual and didn't know it, and then after months of being in the relationship, it was finally disclosed, and he said that he would kill them. Now, like I said in my other video, I have had trans friends all through my life, going back to high school. I wouldn't say trans friends, but homosexual friends. I had my best friend in high school was struggling with his sexual identity at the time. And I knew that, but I did not care, and I didn't care if people thought that me and him was engaged in a sexual relationship. I have always been secure in my manhood. I also made friends in the LGBT community when I was in the United States military. Now, I do not engage in that lifestyle. I am not attracted to males. I am not attracted to transsexuals, but they are human beings. They do have personalities, and these people became my friends in the military. Now, with that said, though, this attitude against heterosexual men, especially heterosexual black men, to make it seem like we're some kind of predators out there when we are the ones that's being preyed upon by transsexuals. Now, like I said in my last video, I don't know all the details behind the deaths or the killings or the murders of transsexual people, but if it's anything similar to what Mr. Hickerson went through, and another story that I will share with you after this story that happened here locally in Charlotte, you know, it's just, I'm just frustrated. I'm very disgusted with these people. I'm very disgusted with the heterophobia that I'm seeing. When I described the incident where I mistakenly thought a natural born woman I was with when I was 18 years old might have been a transsexual, and how I flipped out within seconds of believing this in my mind. Again, this turned out not to be the case. She had a C-section and she was wearing a wig. I was 18 years old, very inexperienced, also had been drinking, and I flipped out. I went crazy. And so, she told me, I'm not a transsexual. I have a child. And so we ended up dating for another year. So I can understand how heterosexual men might feel if they get involved with a person that they believe to be a natural born woman, and then that person doesn't disclose until afterwards. Yes, this is rape by deception. People can try to play games all they want to. It is rape. These rape victims feel shame, just like women who are raped feel shame. They feel humiliated. Oftentimes, they don't even want to report, like some women don't want to report rape because they know that people may not believe them. That isn't the case so much with females, but it's certainly the case with heterosexual males who are sexually assaulted by deception by these transsexuals. It's not right. Now, the purpose that I want to serve in this is to open up dialogue to save lives on both sides, okay? Want to save lives, don't want Mr. Hickerson to spend 40 years in prison when he's the victim of a sexual assault. I don't want to see trans being killed out there. But some of these people in the trans community, and I'm not indicting the entire LGBT community, thank you to those who I have connections to on social media through my work in trying to abolish 21st century slavery and human trafficking by way of the 13th Amendment of the United States Constitution. And many of them were understanding of my position as I shared the story about Mr. Dwayne Hickerson and being able to identify with his state of mind at the time that he found out that he was not with a natural born woman. So I'm not indicting the entire LGBT community. But there are some who have attacked me for expressing my thoughts, expressing my feelings, try to portray me as being transphobic, homophobic, whatever labels you want to try to slap on me. They tried to bully me, try to make me feel ashamed that I'm a heterosexual male who is not attracted to homosexuals, who is not attracted to transsexuals, and is repulsed by the thought of having sex with either of the individuals, just like I imagine lesbians are repulsed by the idea of having sex with males. But these individuals, some of these individuals, are antagonizing the heterosexual community. They are demonizing us and trying to play the victim when they are out there victimizing people. So here we had this article using this inflammatory headline saying black men don't make your trans women pay for your fragile masculinity. See, that's name calling right there. Mr. Hickerson, who was serving his country in the United States Navy, did not have a fragile masculinity. Heterosexual men who may react with violence once they have discovered that they have been raped by sexual deception doesn't make them fragile. I've heard these comments of that, it's victim blaming is what it is. The same victim blaming that we hear expressed towards female rape victims is being expressed towards heterosexuals in their reaction to being raped. Would you blame a woman if she killed her attacker, the person who is sexually assaulting her? Would you blame her for killing her attacker? No, you wouldn't. So what gives you the right to act like men are any different? Okay, first you try to say that we need to be more sensitive, but then on the other hand, you want to attack us when we display sensitivity and put our feelings out there about situations like this. You want to say, attack our masculinity? Give me a break. This is a very disgusting article written by a trans person who deals in stereotypes of heterosexual men. This is the person right here who goes by, I will try to pronounce their name. I'm Lorette or Lorette Giselle Alif. I don't know. It's probably a made up name. I don't think that's their born name. I don't know. All right. But this trans person seems to think, let me just read a little bit from the article. First, this trans person steals a line from Assata Shakur when she was commenting on white feminists and black feminists, when she said that our sisters aren't free as long as our brothers are not free, and telling them to reject white feminism. So this is where this person is getting this line from. None of us are free until all of us are free. And unlike Charlene Carruthers of BYP 100 states time and time again, black folks will not be free if we continue to tell incomplete stories about what's happening in our communities and what's happening to our people. But why are y'all acting like sexual assault by transsexuals against heterosexuals is not happening when you know it's happening? Okay, I had a person, as I was trying to have a decent, logical dialogue on Twitter about this case and about how disgusting it was for Charlemagne the God in them. And somebody actually said that he didn't laugh. He said it was a hate crime when that person described murdering a person or killing a person if they had been deceived for months and then found out that it wasn't a natural born woman. I wouldn't call it a hate crime. I would call it a natural reaction of a rape victim. That's what I would call it. It's just often that females who are rape victims cannot overpower their attackers. I'm not justifying the killing of anyone. I would advise anybody that find themselves in such a situation to call the police and report sexual assault. You detain that person until the police get there. Now, this is again why we need to get behind Mr. Hickerson's mother's campaign to get laws on the book that would call this a sexual assault by deception, that there should be a penalty for you raping heterosexual males that you know are not interested in sex with transsexuals. Okay? So this person goes on to say we must hold these folks accountable. How about holding yourselves accountable in your community? Do you want to save lives, or is it more important for you to trick heterosexual males? Is that what you're getting off on? Your ability to trick a male? And again, I heard all of this victim blaming. Oh, they don't care. They just want some booty and things of that nature. Or, oh, they must really be trans themselves if they can't tell the difference between a natural born woman and a transsexual male. Give me a break. I would, if I saw Laverne Cox walking down the street or walking in the mall or up in the club, it would never cross my mind that that was not a natural born female. The way y'all got makeup skills and weave and surgically enhancing your bodies, come on, give me a break. Now, some of them, yeah, you can definitely tell, but then, hey, it might just be a woman who you're not attracted to, who you think has manly features. I've seen natural born women who kind of resemble men, so you never know. You never know. And so, again, I think that males, you need to protect yourselves. If you're going to get intimate with a natural born woman, just to be sure, maybe you should ask for some ID. Maybe you should ask them, because they are not disclosing. They're not disclosing, and it appears that many of them don't think it's immoral for them to lie. Deception is lying. It's deceit. Deceit, lying, deception is immoral. As I had a person try to tell me, hey, there's no law against it. Just cause you think it's immoral. See, those are the attitudes that are going to lead to more trans getting killed because they out here sexually assaulting heterosexual males and not disclosing. Okay? So yeah, let's talk about that sexual trauma that's being done to heterosexual males. Let's stop victim blaming. Let's acknowledge the sensitivity that heterosexual males feel when they feel that they have been tricked into something that they would not have willingly engaged in. All right. So I want to bring you to another disgusting story. This is coming out of Charlotte. Now, last year, I remember this story where a transgender person was beat up in a park in Charlotte, and then a couple of days later was arrested for sexually assaulting a 15-year-old teen. Now, they described this person as a transgender woman, so I'm assuming that they are over the age of 18 or 18, were 18 when it occurred. I have not seen the person's age, but in this headline, they're describing this person as a transgender woman who today pled guilty to sexual assault against this 15-year-old. After the 15-year-old found out that it was not a natural-born woman who he had sexual contact with, he beat him up along with another teenage male and a female. All three of them were arrested. Now, I'm not sure if they're facing hate crime charges. They should not be. These are young people. Their brain's not even fully developed. And the person who committed the sexual assault said, oh, they were beating me up and they was calling me gay. And I feel like it was a hate crime. When is gay a slur? Y'all call yourselves gay. You call yourselves different names. So how is simply beating your butt for sexually assaulting a teenager, and then you want to, cause they calling you gay while you giving you that beat down for what you did? How's that a hate crime? Okay, this is a disgusting story. So this person pled guilty today. Now, the name that they're going under now is, I think it's Reliza Taylor. Teared up as she left the courtroom Monday, knowing she would not go to jail. She pled guilty to one count of crime against nature and was given a suspended sentence. This was a sexual assault against a 15-year-old boy. This person is not getting any prison. They don't have prison time, is not being forced to register as a sex offender against a 15-year-old boy. And then next week, we'll be testifying against the teens who assaulted this person for their sexual assault against the 15-year-old. Okay, so this is disgusting. Let's take a look at this report coming to you from the WSOC. I think this is an ABC affiliate out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Very disgusting story. Just pay attention to what you're going to see here.
Transgender woman attacked with a machete, a hatchet rather, today pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a teenage boy before the attack. Eyewitness News reporter Mark Becker was in court where she spoke about what happened, Mark.
Yeah, in court with a lot of supporters here because people didn't want to see Relations Taylor go to jail. In the end, they got their wish. As part of a plea deal, she pled guilty and was given a probationary sentence that both sides called a compromise.
Relations Taylor teared up as she left the courtroom this morning, knowing she would not go to jail. But it was a bittersweet victory at best. Taylor got national attention last November after she told police she'd been attacked with a hatchet and beaten in Charlotte's Clanton Park because she's transgender.
I knew this was like a hate crime because they was calling me, gay and stuff.
Soon after, police arrested 3 suspects, these two and a 15-year-old boy. But it all changed several days later when police arrested Taylor under her previous name, Derek Horton. They said for sexually assaulting that same 15-year-old boy who then attacked her. And concern grew within the LGBT community that Taylor could actually be facing more time than any of her attackers. Today, 24 people filed into the courtroom to show support for Taylor, who pleaded guilty to a lower-level felony in what prosecutor Samantha Pendergrass called a compromise. Taylor and her supporters didn't comment after the hearing, but her attorney said it was the right decision.
That she is not somebody who should be deemed a registrable sex offender, that this is not a case that requires any jail time or should require any jail time.
And the case will take another turn on Thursday when Taylor goes from defendant to victim, when one of those charged with attacking her appears here in court. Reporting live at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse, Mark Becker, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Thanks.
Now, again, this is very disgusting. Very, very disgusting. Give me just a second as I pause this video. Let me go ahead and close the video. This is very disgusting. Okay, so what do you trans have to say about this 15-year-old being sexually assaulted by this person being described as a trans woman? Well, you just heard the attorney, oh, we don't think that is a crime or something that should result in prison time, or she shouldn't get more time than her attacker. This person came out and tried to play like it was they were just attacked for being a transgender, when it turns out they had sexually assaulted a 15-year-old boy. See, this is deception all the way around. I am disgusted by this story. I am angered by this story. And this is, again, why I will be getting behind Mr. Wiggerson's, I believe that was Mr. Wiggerson's mother. I'm sorry, I'm just losing my frame of thought right now. But I'll be getting behind efforts to push for laws to make transsexuals disclose, to make it a crime for you to stalk somebody and pretend like you're a natural born woman, present yourself like you're a natural born woman, and then you seducing people who you know are heterosexual. Okay, you're taking away people's ability to choose. All right. So again, I'm not advocating for the killing of transsexuals. I'm not advocating for the assault of transsexuals. What those young juveniles should have done was call the police and reported it and not took matters into their own hands. But again, I have seen cases where people have caught someone sexually assaulting their child and killed the person and didn't do no time. But apparently it's okay to sexually assault heterosexual males. Oh, nobody has sympathy for us. Well, I tell you what, all you're going to do is antagonize heterosexual males. You're going to make them hate you if they already don't, and they're going to target you. Is that what you want? Or do you want open dialogue? Do you want to save lives? Are you going to advocate for full disclosure to potential sexual partners? Or are you going to continue to advocate for deception and then victim blame those who fall victim to rape by sexual deception? So join me Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on August the 1st for a broadcast of BTR News. Again, our guest will be the mother of Mr. Dwayne Hickerson, who was recently sentenced to 40 years in prison for killing a transsexual who stalked him on a dating site, knew that he was seeking a natural-born woman, pretended to be a natural-born woman, got him in a hotel room, had sex with him, and then right after disclosed. What was that all about? What was that? So tune in tomorrow night, blacktalkradionetwork.com, btrnews.com. Continue to support independent black media. Make a donation today to the North Carolina-based nonprofit Black Talk Media Project. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get alerts for new videos. Subscribe to our blog at blacktalkradionetwork.com. Follow us on Twitter at Black Talk Radio and on Facebook, Black Talk Radio Network. This is Scotty Reid. I'm out. Peace.